I'm Sadie Jimenez, and I decided to do my multimedia project on queens taking over the reggaeton industry. So basically, it's just female Latin artists that are upcoming and dominating the reggaeton industry, which is like a subset of Spanish music. It's kind of like Spanish rap. So in my opening page, you can see that my colorway for my website, I did like a hot pink with white, and I wanted to keep it as minimal as possible so that you could focus on the information that I present. But I also wanted to do it pink just to emphasize like the typical like female presence. So I also picked pink because in my opening page, there's a picture of Evie Queen, which is she's like a reggaeton female like OG, and she has like pink hair and like a purple outfit, and I wanted all of my website to go with this main picture because I think it's really powerful and it's really moving. So when you open my website, you see the big title, Queens Taking Over Reggaeton Industry, and I also wrote that current female Latin artists are embracing their sexuality and reclaiming their power in reggaeton. So basically, a lot of women have always been diminished by male Latin artists, and these females that are upcoming that we're going to talk about in a little bit, they are basically reclaiming their sexuality, expressing themselves how they want to, dressing sexy for themselves, not so much as to impress any man or anything like that. So let's go to my opening section. So I have a picture of J-Lo, which obviously everybody knows who J-Lo is, but she, Jenny from the Block, she she's, always been in, she does a lot of features, stuff like that, but she has a very beautiful picture in her Versace dress that I wanted to picture because it's very empowering picture. So when you scroll down a little further, there's two pictures of two videos going on, one of Becky G and one of Nati Natasha. So I included multiple pictures just in case people don't know who they are, but Becky G is a Mexican female artist and Nati Natasha is Dominican. And everybody knows who Becky G is because she's like worked with Bad Bunny in like this new song, Mayores. So I talk about and I link the Mayores video, the Dirty Love video, which is a song that Nati Natasha did with Don Omar, which is a famous reggaeton artist. And I did a song that they actually did together, Becky G and Nati Natasha. It's called Sin Pijama, and it blew up on the internet. So basically, it's them walking around in like their PJs, but it's like lingerie and stuff like that. But it's basically, I think it's very powerful because it's them taking back their own sexuality, and it's pretty much like talking about how they would talking about sex, but like in their own terms, because men in reggaeton tend to overly sexualize women and take control of everything, and women kind of like, it's kind of weird because women kind of like have no say so in the matter. It's mostly just the men like rambling on about what they're going to do to them or what they want them to do, not so much as like the female's input in what's happening. So I wrote about I put a little information about what each hit they each have had, Becky G and Nati Natasha, in their pictures, and like what they're featured on and where they're from, stuff like that, just so like people that are looking at the website that don't necessarily know who they are can get a little bit more familiar with where they're coming from. I also write about how Nati Natasha never gets enough credit for the song Dirty Love, which is a really famous staple like reggaeton song. Like if you're Hispanic, you know what I'm talking about. Then so she never gets credit because Don Omar is like a very big name in reggaeton, so she necessarily gets overlooked, but she has a very big part in the song as well, as equal part as Don Omar does. She just never gets credit. So then if you keep scrolling down after that, I have a tab for how far they have come. So, and below are my blog posts, so that's where I go more in depth and like talk about everything. And then you keep going, and there's a picture of another really, really famous female artist, and then she has a song. She's going out, if you know like the T, she's going out with another famous like super famous like reggaeton artist. His name is Anuel AA, and she is like, she's amazing. Okay, so then you see my 3 blog posts under her picture, and there's a picture of Nati Natasha, which includes my references, which is my bibliography and the link to this video. Then I go into 2000s reggaeton, and then which is a picture of Pitbull, and then I go into how the women are taking over and how they've been taking over the game. So if you click on the 2000s reggaeton, tab, I talk about how Pitbull's 2004 Miami album revolutionized the reggaeton game and how men talk about women in reggaeton songs with his song Culo, which means ass. And I linked the YouTube video and the lyrics. If you don't speak Spanish, that's okay. The lyrics are just to demonstrate how nasty the lyrics are. And then I also linked another video. It's called Pégate, which means get closer. And basically, it's another Pitbull song. He's very infamous for being disgusting towards women. So it's another video, and it's basically just like a video of girls' asses being shown for like no apparent reason. It's just how most reggaeton videos are, which just shows how like demeaning they can be towards women. And so I also linked another video, on the other hand, to a song that Ivy Queen came out with in 2003. It's called Quiero Bailar, which means I want to dance. And basically the whole song is just her taking back her power as like a female. And I talk about that in this blog post, and how it basically just translates to, just because I want to dance doesn't mean that we're gonna sleep together or anything like that, which is kind of like refuting everything that these like men in the industry are like saying about women. She never let anyone like disrespect her as an artist, especially as a female artist. So I think that's like a big thing. And I put a picture of Mr. 305's Pitbull, and then I put a picture, I linked the YouTube video on the bottom of that post to Ivy Queen's Quiero Bailar if you want to listen to it. And then in my Move Aside tab, I have a picture of Ivy Queen in her blonde wig, and there's a very interesting video that I linked about women, like interview kind of about women talking about what they think their role in reggaeton is. And I think it's very interesting. You should look at that, because basically what they start the video by saying that reggaeton wouldn't be what it is without women, because if we wouldn't listen to reggaeton, then and only men would listen to reggaeton, then that would lose a huge following. So the success of reggaeton is also based off of women, so people have to be mindful of that. And then I link the Mayores video, which I think is really important, because in the Mayores video that Becky G did with Bad Bunny, it's basically her talking about how she likes men and how she likes to be treated by men and what she expects from men, not so much as like what men expect from women. So I think that's like very empowering, and I really love that song. And it basically just makes people feel like bad bitches. I put that in my blog post, because you feel powerful and you feel hyped up. And when like a bunch of like, I'm from Miami, so when we like hear it at the club, like we just get so turned, because like we're usually singing about like nasty shit that men are gonna do to like us, and sometimes it's kind of like, whoa, like that's pretty gross, and we don't really realize it. We're desensitized to it, which is part of the problem. But when we hear this, it's kind of like, yeah, we're taking this like on our own terms, like this is our stuff. And so I also put another picture of Ivy Queen, and then the last blog post, like I previously mentioned, is just my references and the link to this video. So if you want to go ahead and go through my website, you can. Thank you for listening, and goodbye.